Hi, my name is Sigmund Yevugan from Aspire Professional Consult. I bring to you another video specifically for our students preparing for financial reporting and corporate reporting paper for both level 2 and 3 of ICAG professionalisms. Today, what's our focus? We want to have a question that will help us drive our discussion. And the question is, how and to what extent is accounting regulated? It's a very important question, and we need to consider what this is about. Now, accounting is regulated primarily because several users of financial reporting, be it investors, lenders, employees, governments, and the public, need to be able to interpret and use financial information in order to make necessary financial and economic decisions. Very important. But regulation can be achieved or has been achieved over the years by establishment of standard-setting bodies whose aim has always been to develop and ensure the rigorous application of these standards. And for our syllabus and for all publications of financial statement, the most reputable body for doing that is the International Accounting Standard Board. This is an independent standard-setting body, and the objective is primarily to develop a single set of high-quality, understandable, enforceable, and globally acceptable financial reporting standard based on clearly articulated principles. So that's the first objective. The second objective is to promote the use and rigorous application of these standards, and finally to promote and facilitate the adoption of these standards, or IFRS, if you may call them. Now, if you look at these objectives, clearly it involves three things. This body, known as the IASB, or International Accounting Standard Board, is to develop one standard, ensure that it promotes the use and rigorous application. Number 3 is to promote and facilitate the adoption across the world. So clearly that is it. So the board, the IASB, is the body that is independently involved in the standard setting process for all accounting processes. That is, anyone preparing financial statement and in reference to the International Financial Reporting Standard, this is the body that develops standard for us to use as accountants. And this is the extent to which financial reporting is regulated. Okay, now, so let's look at the board and its organogram and how it functions. Now, for the IASB, it has 14 members, and their job is to set technical agendas, approve standards, and exposure draft, as well as interpretations. But they cannot do this without the work or the input of the IFRS Foundation. And what is the role of the IFRS Foundation? The foundation is to appoint people to the board, oversee their operation, as well as raise funds for the board to operate. The foundation is also supervised by another body known as the monitoring board. And that monitoring board appoints people to the IFRS Foundation, as well as approve the trustees that will be on the foundation. Okay? So now let's look at other bodies that make up this organogram. We have the IFRS Interpretation Committee and the IFRS Advisory Council. These are very two important bodies that help the board in the process of developing standards as well as the process of interpreting standards. And all these bodies come together to form what people usually refer to as the global accountancy community. And it's very important to consider this organogram and know the various entities within it and the role they play, and it's very important to do so. So key here is that we have the board, we have the IFRS Foundation, as well as the monitoring board. And in the process of developing standards and ensuring standards are well adopted across the world, two main bodies that help in that process: the IFRS Interpretation Committee and the IFRS Advisory Council. So we can now look at the next thing, which is the process that the board develops or uses in setting standard. We call it the standard setting process. And it is very important for all students to consider the standard setting process. Number 1 is that the board must set an agenda. Okay. Number 2 is to plan the project. Number 3 is to develop and publish discussion paper. Number 4 is to develop and publish an exposure draft. Number 5 is to develop and publish the standard itself. And number 6 is what we call the procedures after the standard has been issued. This process is very important, and you must consider what each of these processes is all about. By setting the agenda, the board considers the views of the advisory council before setting an agenda. And once the agenda is set, they put together a working committee or a working group. So by then, they have a planning of the project. So by planning the project, this working group must make sure that they put together a discussion paper And that discussion paper incorporates the views of various interested parties to then have what we call the exposure draft. Once the exposure draft is out there, it then culminates into the IFRS being developed for the use of all persons. And once the standards are published, what next do? We have to ensure that the standards are well understood by everybody, and the role of the interpretation committee would then fall in. So this is the standard setting process, and I advise all students to ensure that they understand this process because it's very technical. Each word has its true meaning, and you have to ensure you understand what it means. Now let's go to look at what we call adoption and global harmonization of IFRS. What is adoption of IFRS? This is where the aim is to ensure that countries around the world adopt IFRS as their fundamental standard or laws for preparing financial statements. And the good news is that Ghana has adopted IFRS. And what do we mean by global harmonization? The aim is to ensure that all countries around the world adopt IFRS. In your exams, you may expect questions as the demerit and merit of global harmonization, but you must know that when it comes to the advantages of global harmonization, all students are required to know it in line with each of these stakeholders, be it investor, be it the multinational companies, be it government of developing countries, tax authorities, regional economic groups, as well as large accounting firms. All students must make sure that this issue of demerit and merit of global harmonization as well as adoption, you know the advantages in line with various stakeholders. And I repeat it again, the investors, the multinational companies, the government of developing countries, tax authorities, regional economic group, as well as large accounting firms. Now, to conclude, it's very important that I provide you these key facts about the standards that we have. Currently, we have 16 IFRS, 25 IAS, as well as various interpretations that in pronouncement of the board. But for your exams, for both level 2 and 3, those writing financial reporting and corporate reporting, it's very important to consider all these standards. And in our next and subsequent videos, we shall be taking our time to discuss each of these standards for your clear understanding. Be the IFRS or the IAS, our job is to ensure that we bring you careful guidance on all of these standards. Thank you, and see you in our next session. Thank you for watching another video from Aspire Professional Consult. For more of these videos and audio lectures, you can join our e-learning program by downloading our app on both Android and iOS. For those of you who want to join our classroom lecture, you can also join us on both weekends and weekday, either at Kwabenya for the weekends and Accra Central at the Hockey Stadium for the weekday. And also, we give you an opportunity to buy books from our published house, that's Aspire Publication, by dialing the following numbers provided on your screen. Thank you, and see you in our next section.